Why does he do that? Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men by Lundy Bancroft.
Hey.
You're home early.
Yes. I thought I'll come home early and make us something nice to eat. It's been a while we ate together. Just us two. So sit down.
Really tired.
I know. Actually, I have another reason for this. Celebrate your contract signing. How did it go?
Babe, it didn't go as planned.
Oh.
It's so frustrating. The deal fell through at the last minute.
Again? How?
What's the meaning of that? What do you mean again? Oh, because it's Soji, it will fail, Abby?
No. No, I know I've been skeptical, but not in this way. And I know you've been working very hard, and things have not been going well. But it's okay. Don't despair. Let's just forge ahead. Huh? So what's your next move?
My next move? Can't you just let me breathe?
Okay, babe. Just calm down. Just relax. Actually, never mind that. We'll talk about all of that later. When you come back to our bedroom tonight. Look, babe. I know, we've had some time apart and it's done us some good, but I think it's time to come back to our bedroom. I miss you. And I know I'm sorry that I made you so upset that you had to move out. But I want you to come back.
I agree that us spending time apart has done us some good. It has given me some time to think and, to just get myself together. Which is why I think we should spend some more time apart. I'm going to go inside and freshen up. That's for the food. Nice.
Part 1. The Nature of Abusive Thinking. Chapter 1. The Mystery. One of the best things about this book is how he uses the real-life examples of women he's come into contact with and the things they've said to him. Here are some things women have said to him. He's two different people. I feel like I'm living with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. He really doesn't mean to hurt me. He just loses control. Everyone else thinks he's great. I don't know what it is about me that sets him off. He's fine when he's sober, but when he's drunk, watch out. I feel like he's never happy with anything I do. He's scared me a few times, but he never touches the children. He's a great father. He calls me disgusting names, and then an hour later, he wants sex. I don't get it. He messes up my mind sometimes. The thing is, he really understands me. Why does he do that? Here are some key themes that kept coming up over and over in their clients' stories. Number 1, his version of abuse is different from hers. Bancroft tells the story of a guy, Dale, who who said his relationship entered rocky terrain about a year ago. According to the abuser, his 11-year marriage to his wife Eleanor was good until she met this woman who was so jealous of his wife that she set out to wreck it. According to Eleanor, though, Dale had become abusive a few months after the marriage. He shoved and slapped her and broke things, the usual. Then she met this new friend, and the friend told her that what Dale was doing was abuse, and she had done nothing to deserve it. So she started standing up to Dale, which only pissed him off. According to Dale's account, they were still together, but when Bancroft spoke to Eleanor, she said they were separated. Bancroft talks about how they always make sure to get the woman's side of the story, and it always is undoubtedly different from what the guy is saying. 2. He gets insanely jealous, but in other ways, he seems entirely rational. Bancroft tells the story of a young client, Marshall, who was meeting his wife at the lobby of the building where she worked. When she got off the elevator, it was just her and this guy. So he started peppering her with questions and accusations about what she'd been doing with the guy in the lift. He got pissed off, blowing up at her, calling her a slut, even when she tried to calm him down, insisting nothing had happened. Later on at group, when it was pointed out that it was impossible for his wife to have had full-on intercourse with a guy in the elevator of a busy office building at lunchtime, he considered that the accusation had no basis and was not true. He was being completely irrational, even though in other areas of his life, he was just a reasonable guy. Number 3. He succeeds in getting people to take his side against her. Bancroft tells the story of this man, Martin, who admitted to humiliating his longtime girlfriend in front of other people, as well as flirting with other people in front of her, and ruining important events in her life by causing a sin. He admitted to insulting and ignoring her so she'd feel how he felt when she hurt him. This guy was in therapy and had managed to convince his therapist that his longtime girlfriend had control issues and even obsessive compulsive disorder. Bancroft calls and asks the therapist if she was treating them both. She says no. He asks if she'd at least spoken to Jeannie before diagnosing her. Therapist says no, she hadn't spoken to Jeannie even once. Therapist insists that this guy Martin is unusually perceptive and sensitive. How did this guy manage to convince a therapist to not only support him but also diagnose a woman sight unseen? Key lesson here: an abusive man is not a reliable source of information about his partner. Number 4. During some incidents, he seems to lose control, but certain other controlling behaviors of his appear very calculated. Bancroft tells the story of this guy, Mark, who joined his program. Bancroft asks him what the top 3 complaints his partner has so they can set behavioral goals. Mark says his girlfriend complains about him not making her a priority, so they set the goal as spend more time with Eileen, make her a priority. Then Bancroft does his usual talk to the abused woman thing. Eileen says they was even broken up for a while. Then a few weeks later, Mark called her and said he'd joined this abuser program, and the counselors told him that them being together would help him work on his issues. Eileen doesn't want to get back together, but also doesn't want to stand in the way of him getting better. So she starts seeing him again. She's like, if that's what the program recommends, okay. Needless to say, everything Mark had said was a lie, just more of his manipulation, this time while using the abuser program. Unfortunately, this high degree of manipulativeness that Mark used is not uncommon among abusive men. Number 5. Sometimes he tends to be really changing, but it tends to vanish. Bancroft tells the story of this guy, Carl, who during their group sessions would say things like, I can see that I've got to work on my attitude, and I learned a lot tonight about how excuses keep me from changing. I'm really glad I met you because I think if I wasn't hearing the things you're saying, I would be headed straight to being locked up, etc. He said all the right things. So Bancroft does his usual call the partner thing and calls the girlfriend, but something seems off. She seems uncomfortable. He cuts the call short, assuming Carl is right there with her. Next week in group, while someone else is running the session, Bancroft slips out and calls the girl, knowing Carl is in group. And boy, does the girlfriend Peggy have a lot to report. So every Wednesday night after the program, Carl comes home in a rage. She's literally afraid to be in the house on Wednesdays after his sessions. Carl talks about how the program is bullshit and how he wouldn't have to attend if she hadn't called the cops on him. Meanwhile, do you know why she'd called the cops? He had a history of beating her. We're talking black eyes, smashed furniture, holding a knife to her neck, and so on. As a bonus, in those rants, Carl saw about how he especially hated that Bancroft guy. Bancroft later found a way to get the guy kicked off the program without revealing what the girlfriend had said. In conclusion, first, all this irrational behavior, mood swings, and other erratic acts serve to leave women confused about what's happening and why. This is exactly what the abusers want, to remain a confounding mystery. He wants everyone around him to believe his behavior makes no sense, so everyone focuses on everything but the real causes of his behavior. The purpose of books like these is to strip away all that confusion they hide behind. When he is exposed and the mask is removed, his power begins to melt away. Second, abuse is not a product of bad relationship dynamics. You are not the cause of his abusive behavior, and you cannot improve things by changing your own behavior or attempting to manage your partner better. To quote Bancroft, abuse is a problem that lies entirely within the abuser. End quote. Okay, brief recap on the common themes among abusers. 1. His version of abuse is worlds apart from hers. 2. He gets insanely jealous, but in other ways seems entirely rational. 3. He succeeds in getting people to take his side against hers. 4. During some incidents, he seems to lose control, but certain other controlling behaviors appear very calculated. 5. Final, sometimes he seems to be really changing, but it tends to vanish. Okay, cool. We'll pick up on chapter 2 next time. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. Until next time, remember who you are. Love life. Love people. And stay lunatic. Bye.